49 undefeated, playing for glory, Arsenal way.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Arsenal Way, and yes, we are back at you with your daily Arsenal agenda show, your daily show from Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. Sorry we started a bit later, guys. We had some complications, but we're here now, and that's what matters. I'm joined by Alfie just to discuss today's topics. Alfie, mate, how are you firstly?
Yeah, morning, Bailey. Doing well. Bit of a surprise to be on, but good to be on nonetheless. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Tired, but good to go. We're in to go. It's almost match day. We've got one more sleep left until two more sleeps actually until match day. So I'm just excited. I just want to get into the new game and get into the Fulham game. How are you feeling for the Fulham game, by the way, Alfie?
Yeah, really confident ahead of it. I think it's the first time in a long time where I've felt confident going into every game. And even looking at Fulham a couple of seasons ago, we would have thought it was an easy win. They were a pushover. Now they are actually looking like a strong side. They're in form, and I'm still feeling confident to make it 4 wins in a row.
Absolutely confident indeed. Likewise, every game we go into now, I just feel confident. I just feel like we're gonna get the win, and I think that won't change for Saturday when we're at home, 5:30. Of course, we can beat Fulham. I'm confident for that. But let's talk about football on the pitch. Let's talk about transfers, and we're gonna start off with interesting news yesterday, Alfie. West Ham apparently bidded 33.8 million for Lucas Paqueta from Lyon. However, we did learn this morning it was rejected. But this is meant to be an Arsenal target. So how do you feel about these links to both Paqueta to West Ham?
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one, I think. Looking at the low price that they're bidding, you wonder sort of whether they know something we don't. I think it's a strange one. It's been linked that Edo has been such a big fan of Paqueta, perhaps wanted to wait until January to sign him. But there's not been any concrete links between Arsenal and Paqueta so far. It's always seemed to be Tielemans has been the main target. And even with Tielemans, they don't seem to be pushing for something. So it's a bit of a strange one because he's a really good player. We've seen that he would fit really well in that left central midfield role in Arsenal's system. They're really, really good at pressing, very good technically. But it seems that perhaps Arteta and Edu are happy with Fabio Vieira, and maybe that's an indication to what role he'll be playing. But you look at the signings that some of the teams around are making. It would be a fantastic signing for West Ham, Paqueta, and maybe they're bidding a bit low at the minute, but we'll see. But I think if we did miss out on him, for me, I wouldn't be too worried about it. I know others are a fan of him. I'm not sure what you think of the proposed deal, Bailey, but for me, I wouldn't be as worried missing out on him because for me, I'd prefer someone like Youri Tielemans.
Yeah, I think Eddie's really confirmed that we're not in for Lucas Paqueta too tough. I think it's a deal that would be a backup option maybe to our first option. Of course, he's a good player, but I don't know if he's exactly what we need at the moment. Of course, we have Martin Odegaard, Fabio Vieira. He can play in the more attacking role in midfield. So Lucas Paqueta might weaken our defensive side of the midfield a little bit. And I think, Youri Tielemans would be a better deal. And I don't know if it was ever concrete our interest in Paqueta. I think the links make sense, him being Brazilian, of course, from Ligue 1, still young, potential player with potential. Of course, they're going to be linked with Arsenal because all the talent we've been signing from that area. So, yeah, that made sense in that sector. But, yeah, Youri Tielemans should be the focus. But West Ham's interest in Paqueta definitely did open doors because I don't think he'll be available. But this late bid from West Ham does show that he is available to be signed. So if Arsenal did want Paqueta, I think we would get him. I think that does show, Alfie, doesn't it? That if he was available, we would get him if we really did want him.
Yeah, and I think what I even forgot to mention is we're talking about this left central midfield role and how good Paqueta would be there, but Granit Xhaka has been revolutionary the last 6 months, and I can't see him being dropped even if we did sign Youri Tielemans. I think whoever come in would be to sort of push Xhaka and obviously maybe eventually take that role off him, but if he keeps playing the way he is, I can't see anyone taking his spot because he's just played that role to perfection and just getting involved in a more attacking sense. But, I'm not saying he's fantastic defensively, but if you compare him to someone like Paqueta, he's obviously a lot more defensively capable, which I think, given the balance in that midfield, would sort of work better than someone like Paqueta. But we'll see. There's still, a week left of the transfer window. hopefully goes down to the wire. I always love deadline day, so hopefully we have another one like 2013, big transfer on the last hour.
Absolutely. Let's see if that does happen. I know I'd want it to happen. At the same time, I don't want it to happen because I want our business to be sorted early, but you can't hide away from an excellent transfer deadline day. I think that's the best feeling ever. So maybe we shall see. But this comment from Felix Peter is interesting. West Ham a bid for Paqueta. Why do clubs want to sell their players to Arsenal at a higher price than other clubs? Bruno Guimaraes was quoted for 45 million for Arsenal, but ended up going cheaper to Newcastle. Alfie, is there an agenda against Arsenal? Are clubs really selling their players for more to Arsenal and less compared to other clubs?
Yeah, it does seem a bit strange, doesn't it? It's this is the thing is it's how much do you trust the rumours that are linking them to? I mean, we've seen at first when Paqueta, I think the first price tag that I saw on any links was 80 million, and eventually when there was more news on it, it dropped to around 55 to 60 million. So it's just how much are those figures true? On Guimaraes, yeah, we did seem to be quoted more, but he was a fantastic player, and I think it is a regret that we didn't get him in January, because you look at how he's playing for Newcastle, he would have been fantastic for Arsenal, and I don't think we'd been looking at the likes of Tielemans and Paqueta this summer. But you're not going to sign every single player, and especially they don't want to be paying over the top. And I think that's some of the good business that we've been doing. We're not getting pushed into paying over the top for players, as we've seen with Rafinha, obviously perhaps in January with Guimaraes, and maybe this summer with Paqueta. So who knows? But maybe they can feel like they can get a few extra pounds out of us. But obviously we're showing that we're not able to be pushed over.
Absolutely. So we're not pushovers at all. And yeah, Edu has improved that about his side since coming over as technical director. I think he started off disappointingly in his role, but now he's really starting to improve and showing that Arsenal are more in the Man City Liverpool type of mode, where we only sign players who we believe are right, and we'll only sign players for the right price as well. We won't get pushed over. We won't have to overspend because we simply won't do it. And I think that works in the long term for your project. And I think it's good Arsenal are doing that. But less of incomings. Let's talk about outgoings, Alfie, and the major outgoing of this summer. I think it was expected now for almost a year. Nicolas Pepe is finally on his way out the door, as he is going to OGC Nice on a season-long loan without an option to buy. Of course, Leicester were interested, but he decided to go to Nice. Alfie, how do you feel about this?
I think it's the right move for both parties. He's clearly a talented player, but it just didn't work out for him at Arsenal, and he seems to be more suited for the French league. So I think it's a chance for him to shine and build up some confidence, because I think that's something that he's severely lacking at Arsenal. Playing on the bench, not getting on, and I think I felt for him sometimes. That Wolves game last season, he came on and completely turned the tide on its head, and we ended up winning the game. But just when he was given a start, he just didn't take it, and I think it's the right decision to offload him. Obviously, the main thing is those wages that he's got. Obviously, they're very high, and it'll be good to get those off the books. I think he's taken a wage cut to go to Nice, which is good to see that he's willing to get out there and play football. In terms of the no option to buy, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think it's his last year of his contract when he comes back after the loan move. So I think it was maybe an opportunity to get a bit more money for him if we put it in, but maybe it's a lesson learned after the likes of Mavropanos and Guendouzi, who obviously went there and played at Marseille, and was it Stuttgart that Mavropanos was at, and obviously played well and were worth far more than the option that they were given in the loan to buy when the season had finished. So maybe it's a lesson learned, but definitely the best move for both parties, and hopefully he smashes it out in France again.
Absolutely. Let's say, is there still a chance for redemption, Alfie? Let's say he has an amazing season in France, and we decide to keep him for next year, and we don't sell him. Is there a chance that he could maybe revitalize it, rejuvenate his Arsenal careers, or is it completely done now? Is that loan move confirmed that Pepe is unfortunately no longer has a chance to break into Arteta's team?
I think my heart wants him to go to Nice, score 20 goals or whatever he scored when he was obviously at Lille, and come back and be a completely different player. But I just don't think he suits the Premier League. And I think it's probably best for both parties to get him out on a permanent deal next summer, get a fee, in for him. But I think it all depends on the transfer business that we have in the last week. If we bring in another winger, I think that's sort of the final nail in the coffin for his Arsenal career. But we'll see. Hopefully, ideal situation, he goes over there, smashes it, looks to have improved and comes back a completely different player. But I mean, I'm not sure how you see it, Bailey, but unfortunately, I just can't see that happening.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. As you said, we're bringing another winger. I don't know how he'll break back into the team, unfortunately. So maybe this is a step in the right direction for Pepe in terms of his career. Get a loan move, perform well, and then next year your value will increase and you have much more clubs in your favour. So it's a good chance for Pepe to really put his career and put it back on track and where it was before he did join Arsenal and when he was thriving at Lille. But we shall see. And Alfie, you mentioned a potential incoming winger, and one of those incoming wingers could be Wilfried Zaha. Now, of course, we know Arsenal have had long-term links with this guy since the Unai Emery days, and Unai Emery even admitted that he wanted Zaha instead of Pepe. So now, is it time to reverse the cycle and bring in Zaha, Alfie?
Yeah, it's funny that on the same day we're talking about, when Emery was in, he wanted Zaha and we ended up getting Pepe. And now, 3 years later, we're talking about Pepe going out the door for perhaps, I don't even want to think how much it would be, perhaps 15 million if you went on a permanent. And the player that Emery wanted to bring in, we're looking at signing. It's typical, really, of some of the business that we've done over the years, which thankfully seems to be a lot better now. But it's an interesting link, Wilfried Zaha, because we've seen him this season. He's played more centrally. Obviously, first game played out wide, and Ben White for me played a fantastic game and dealt with him really well. But I'm not too sure on the links. He's obviously a very talented player. I think we've been linked with him since, was it 2013 when he signed for Man United? And I thought he was a done deal for Arsenal. But it's a strange one because I've seen something on Twitter which I think summed it up really well. He's the main man at Crystal Palace, and he's the one that they rely on. Scores the goals for them, and is just overall probably their best player. Whereas coming to Arsenal, would he be the main man? I'm not too sure. And there's all is he too selfish? Would he fit in with the style of play? I'm not too sure, but I think he's a fantastic player. If we did sign him, then I think he'd be a decent enough addition. But for me, I think the likes of Pedro Neto or even Yerry Pino, which seems to have gone quiet the last couple of days, I think they'd be much better additions, and they're fitting more with the young squad, and they can develop as the squad gets better. Hopefully they'll follow with the trajectory. There's the argument that Zaha would bring much needed experience to that front line, which I think Gabriel Jesus is our most experienced player in that front line. So it would be good to add that experience. But I know personally for me, I'd prefer the likes of a Neto or a Pino.
Yeah, I agree. I like Zaha. I've always said, I think guys who read my content know I'd like to see Zaha come through the door. His age does worry me a little bit, but again, he'll come in and it'll be an immediate impact because, of course, he's a Premier League proven player. So I think why not bring him to Zaha? Of course, Neto prefer because he's younger and he has more chance of growth. We don't know his potential could be through the ceiling, so it could be even higher than Zaha. So that would be a good option to bring in. But again, Zaha is there. If he's available, I think it's a deal we can definitely look to explore. But we shall see. It's going to be an interesting last week to the transfer window. Of course, we do know that I believe it is this day next week the transfer window ends. So we'll see if we have bought any players through the door. Guys, make sure to let us know in the comment section if you think Arsenal will make a signing before the end of the transfer window and who. And if you don't, will you be disappointed, or do you think our squad is good enough now? We're going to end the show there, though. Alfie, as always, mate, thank you for jumping on.
No, thank you for having me on, Bailey. Like I say, a bit of a surprise to be on, but no, enjoyed getting through the topics. Thank you, everyone, for listening in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Alfie, for jumping on. You legend, mate. And guys, thank you for listening. Mate, if you like the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. And most importantly, make sure you keep following us down the Arsenal way.
49, undefeated, playing for the Arsenal way.